All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Universal Soldier 1992. Giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I like this one. This is going to be another Karate Man recommendation. It's kind of slow, but I like the ending. I thought it would have been even better ending if they had used the alternate ending at the end, but they did include the alternate ending in the bonus features. It's got a bunch of interviews with Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme. There's the Jean-Claude Van Damme School of Acting, and then there's the Dolph Lundgren School of Acting. It's empty! It's empty! Got my new and improved Catholic shrine in back of me. Professor Quiz says I should do movie posters. Instead, I did candles and all kinds of stuff back there. I'm gonna light the candle when my son is here, and then you'll see the flame in the background. Anyways, facing eastward. My son told me that it has to be facing eastward, so now it's there. Universal Soldier is a 1992 U.S. military science fiction action film directed by Robert Emmerich and produced by Alan Shapiro, Craig Baumgarten, and Joel B. Michaels. Written by Richard Rothstein, Christopher Leach, and Dean Devlin. The film tells the story of Luke Devereaux, Jean-Claude Van Damme himself, the cocaine aficionado, a former U.S. Army soldier who was killed in the Vietnam War in 1969, returned to life following a secret military project called the Universal Soldier Program. However, he finds out about his past through though his memory was erased, and as he escapes alongside a young TV journalist, Allie Walker. Along the way, they have to deal with the return of his arch enemy, Sergeant Andrew Scott, Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren is a pretty good bad guy. he keeps calling he keeps calling everybody gook traitors. He's lost his sanity in the Vietnam War, and he's become a psychotic megalomaniac intent on killing him and leading the Universal Soldiers. Universal Soldiers was released by TriStar Pictures on July 10th, 1992. The film has a 35% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And it grossed $95 million worldwide against its budget of $23 million. And it spawned a series of films, theatrical sequel, Universal Soldier, The Return, which I have right here. In my possession, it's in my next review. The sequel to Universal Soldier, called Universal Soldier, The Return, alternative direct-to-video sequel, Universal Soldier Regeneration. Standalone direct-to-video film, Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning, and 2 direct-to-TV films, Universal Soldier 2 Brothers in Arms and Universal Soldier 3 Unfinished Business. It was the first film on-screen collaboration between Van Damme and Lundgren in the film series, who both later worked together in The Expendables 2 and Blackwater, and their voice roles in Minions, The Rise of Gru. So now Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme are doing kids' movies. How nice. Release date July 10th, 1992. Running time 102 minutes. Not too long. Budget $23 million. Box office $95 million. I'd say it had a good return on investments, but it gets poor ratings, poor reviews. I was starting to hate this, but I really like the ending, even though it could have been better. There are about 3 explosions, I think. Dolph Lundgren's bumbling acting skills, or lack thereof, I should say. Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the ending fight scene was cool. I like that. I really like the ending. And it could have been even better, but oh well. At least I got to watch it on the bonus features. In 1969, a U.S. Army team secures a village against North Vietnamese forces. Luc Devereaux discovers members of his squad and villagers murdered. Devereaux's sergeant, Andrew Scott, has gone insane, made a necklace of severed ears, and he's holding a young couple hostage. Devereaux tries to reason with Scott, who executes the man and orders Devereaux to shoot the girl to prove his loyalty. Devereaux refuses, and Scott kills the girl with the grenade. After shooting each other to death, Devereaux and Scott's corpses are received by a second squad and cryogenically frozen. Their disappearance classified as missing in action. Devereaux and Scott's corpses with others are reanimated decades later and selected for the Universal Unisol program, an elite counterterrorism unit. They are given a neural serum to keep their minds susceptible and their past memories suppressed. Their group is deployed to Hoover Dam to resolve a hostage situation. The team demonstrates its superior training and physical abilities against the terrorists, such as when Unisol GR-76 withstands close-range rifle fire. Devereaux regains memories from his former life upon seeing 2 hostages that resemble the Vietnamese villagers. Devereaux disobeys commands from the control team, and he becomes unresponsive. In the mobile command center, the Unisols are revealed to be genetically augmented soldiers with enhanced self-healing abilities and superior strength, but they overheat and shut down. Because of the glitch, Woodward, one of the technicians on the project, suggests removing Devereaux from the team, but Unisol Commander Colonel Perry refuses. TV journalist Veronica Roberts, who was fired while covering the Hoover Dam incident, tries to get a story on the Unisol project to retain her job. Roberts sneaks into the base with a cameraman covering GR-76 immersed in ice, still alive despite normally fatal injuries. When Roberts is discovered, Devereaux and Scott are ordered to capture her dead or alive. She flees to her cameraman's car, but they crash. Scott coldly murders the cameraman against orders. Devereaux rescues Roberts, and they escape in a Unisol vehicle. To protect the program, Colonel Perry sends the remaining Unisols to find Devereaux and Roberts. Devereaux and Roberts flee to the motel Devereaux and Roberts flee to the motel where Roberts discovers she has been framed for the murder of her cameraman. Devereaux collapses from overheating, and he has to take an ice bath. The Unisols completely destroy the motel, but Devereaux and Roberts hide in a bed until they leave. The couple flees in a stolen car to a gas station where Devereaux has Roberts remove a tracking device from his leg. This is a part where Jean-Claude Van Damme shows off his fake tan shaved arse like 3 times, and I'm going, I did not need to see this. They set a trap when the Unisols arrive. The gas station explodes. Colonel Perry is ordered to terminate the mission, but Scotty's insanity returns and he kills Perry and all but 2 doctors, Devereaux and Roberts, sneak into the command center bus and steal Unisol documents. Scott orders the rest of the mindlessly obedient Unisol team to kill Devereaux and Roberts. Using information from the stolen documents, Roberts contacts Dr. Christopher Greger. This is the Jerry Orbach character who makes a second appearance in the alternate ending. Greger informs them that the Unisol project was started in the 1960s to develop the perfect soldier. Although they were able to reanimate dead humans, they could not overcome the body's need for cooling. Another major problem is that the memories of the last moments of life are greatly amplified. Scott believes he is still in Vietnam fighting insurgents. When Devereaux and Roberts leave the doctor's home, police arrest them. Scott and GR7 ambush the police convoy. After a chase, the police bus and the Unisol truck both drive off the cliff and explode, killing GR76. Devereaux and Roberts head to Devereaux's family farm in Louisiana. After Devereaux is reunited with his parents, Scott appears and takes the family and Roberts hostage. Scott's use of muscle enhancers enables him to mercilessly beat Devereaux. Roberts escapes, only to be seemingly killed by a grenade thrown by Scott. Devereaux grabs the muscle enhancer Scott used and he injects himself. Now evenly matched, Devereaux impales Scott on the spikes of a hay harvester and he activates it, shredding Scott to pieces. That's a great scene. We like that scene. In February 1990, Andrew Davis was hired to direct, and he also contributed to the screenplay. He was later replaced by Robert Emmerich, who brought on his creative planner, Dean Delvin, to rewrite aspects of the script. Principal photography began in August 1991. Carolco, the company that produced the film, was having financial troubles, and they hoped that the film's box office return would keep them afloat. At the 1992 Cannes Festival, Van Damme and Lundgren were involved in a verbal altercation that almost turned physical when both men pushed each other, only to be separated. On his website, Lundgren confirmed that it was just a publicity stunt to promote the film. It was the last film that used the multi-channel surround sound format, Cinema Digital Surround. The volume is very loud on this disc. I had to keep turning my portable DVD player down on the volume switch. The special edition DVD release features an alternative ending, which is the disc that I have. Starts shortly after Scott takes Devereaux's family and Roberts to it starts shortly after Scott takes Devereaux's family and Roberts hostage. As Devereaux grabs a shotgun in the kitchen, the front door opens and he sees his mother at the door before Scott shoots her to death. The final fight between Devereaux and Scott. Devereaux does not use Scott's muscle enhancers. Shortly after grinding Scott to death, Devereaux is shot by his father before Dr. Christopher Greger and his men appear. Greger explains that he used Devereaux to entrap both Scott and him, and that Devereaux was staying with people posing as his parents. He then has his men shoot Devereaux, but before Devereaux dies, the police and Robert's news crew arrive. The news crew douses Devereaux with the fire extinguisher to stabilize him while Dr. Greger and his men are arrested. Roberts is given a microphone to cover the rest, but she loses all composure while on the air, dropping the microphone to comfort Devereaux. Several days later, Devereaux is reunited with his real parents. The film ends with the eulogy narrated by Roberts, who explains that Devereaux rejected all life-prolonging medication before dying a natural death. Universal Soldier opened in theaters on July 10th, 1992, where it grossed $10,057,084 from 1,916 theaters with a $5,249 per screen average. It opened and peaked at number 2 behind A League of Their Own. A League of Their Own's second weekend, grossing $36,299,898 in the US and Canada, and $59 million internationally, $44 million via TriStar, for a worldwide gross of $95 million. That is huge. Mainstream critics dismissed it as a Terminator 2 clone, or as a typical mindless action film. We like typical mindless action films on this channel. On the review aggregate website, Rotten Tomatoes, 34% of 35 critics reviews are positive, with an average rating of 4.5 out of 10. Rating is much higher, 8 out of 10. The website's consensus reads, Universal Soldier unites a pair of veteran action stars behind a potentially intriguing premise, but on this battlefield, entertainment value is largely AWOL. It is kind of slow. I'll give them that, but it's not that bad. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 35 out of 100 based on 15 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of a B on an A plus to F scale. That's more accurate. The CinemaScore B rating is more accurate. In a retrospective review, Drew Taylor from IndieWire says, this movie rules. The introduction of Emmerich Devlin Double Team, this high concept, moderately budgeted sci-fi action movie, is a base of cliches that somehow manages to be charming, funny, often positively thrilling B-grade treat. Now Comics published a 3-part comic miniseries based on the movie, running from September to November 1992. The adaptation was written by Clint McElroy. During conversation of the video game Turrican 2 to Sega Genesis, the publisher Accolade decided to cash in on the hype surrounding the film and rebrand the game as a tie-in. The spaceship levels from the original were replaced with platforming levels set in a jungle, and the player sprite and some enemies were changed to look more human. The resulting product received mostly negative reviews compared to the critically acclaimed home computer release. A version of the game for the Game Boy was also released, while a Super Nintendo Entertainment System port was developed but never released. The 2 direct-to-TV sequels, Universal 2 Brothers in Arms and Universal 3 Unfinished Business, were released in 1998 with Matt Battaglia cast as the titular character. A theatrical sequel, Universal Soldier: The Return, which I'm going to watch next, which ignores the 2 television sequels, was released in 1999 with Van Damme reprising the role, and Michael J. White was cast as another role for the film. And the alternate sequels, Universal Soldier Regeneration and Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning, which were released in 2009 and 2012, with Van Damme and Lundgren reprising their roles from the first film, ignoring the elements of the return. I guess I have to put Michael J. White's name in this one. I forgot to add him. I will do that now. Michael J. White. Since he's in both movies, we'll add his name. Michael J. White. So this movie has a bunch of interviews with, the disc has a bunch of interviews with both Van Damme and Lundgren. It's got a bunch of trailers, and it's got the alternate ending, which is cool. A reboot was in development, and Richard Wank was set to write the film as of 2018, which will focus on one resurrected soldier. In October 2011, writer Damien Kindler was set to write a TV series of the same name for Fremantle Media North America, with producers from the original film, Alan Shapiro and Craig Baumgarten, attached to the project. And that's everything you wanted to know about Universal Soldier. Not a great film. I was disappointed. I had high hopes for Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme together, but fight scene at the end was cool. Sort of made up for the rest of the movie, really. But there were some cool explosions there. So rate it too low, like Rotten Tomatoes stuff. But yeah, pretty cool recommendation from Karate Man. Not highly recommended. Not one of those check it out kind of deals, but pretty close. I'm not complaining. It's like when my son went from libertarian to traditional Catholic, I didn't complain. Kind of a mixed bag, this one. Not a great film, but it was worth checking out. Let's see if the sequel is any good. The 1999 sequel. They made a sequel 7 years later, really? With Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, no Dolph Lundgren. Well, I guess he died in the first one, so they can't really bring him back, right? But be interesting to see where the first one takes off from the last movie. And yeah, I told you about what's coming down the pike for next week. We will we'll keep the reviews coming today. I forgot to pray before and after my meal again. I should be doing the rosary every day like my son, but I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to figure out the rosary and this black missile over here. But he's going to be going to the Belmont Latin Mass tomorrow by himself, and I'll be going to the San Francisco Latin Mass tomorrow all by myself. It should be the other way around. I should be going to the Belmont one, and he should be going to the San Francisco one, but that's how God wanted it. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right. I'll try to get through these reviews. I'm going to take a quick nappy poo. I guess it's too early for Karate Man. Got to wait until 3 o'clock for Karate Man to show his face in the chat room. Not his face, but his YouTube avatar. All right, that's the end of my review. Laters.